Welcome to HNHN Daily's coverage of the 2011 Health Forum AHA Leadership Summit, San Diego. I'm joined this morning by Summit synthesizer and healthcare futurist Ian Morrison to take a look back at this year's summit. Ian, thanks for joining me this morning.
Ian, pleasure.
So Ian, now that you've had a chance to sink in some of the sessions and your conversations with attendees, what do you see as the big themes this year at the summit?
Well, I think people are actually energized to take on the big challenge of how do we actually make the healthcare system perform at a higher level. And by that I mean not only improve quality, but get the cost performance in line with what we can afford for the long run. I mean, I think we heard compelling stories from our keynoters about the state of world affairs and the context within which healthcare finds itself, both politically and economically. And it's really a good lesson to learn that, you know, we've got to change. And what I found though was really positive is that people are looking for ways to make that change, to find new tools and to find ways to develop business models and delivery systems that are higher value, which is the theme of the meeting. And I think I'm encouraged that we actually provided them both in the keynotes and in the breakouts with a lot of information that they can go back and do their work. And I think it's important work.
And you're finding optimism from those leaders that they're, despite all the cost pressures and all the machinations in Washington, that they actually have some optimism that they can really bring some change to their organizations.
Absolutely. And I think the reason for that, Hayden, is because, you know, meetings like this, I think, are empowering because they can interact not only with the big issues, but with other leaders who are actually doing the work.
Right.
And the leaders who I work with that I respect the most are the ones who don't get sidetracked by, oh my goodness, something could happen in Washington that will derail my plans, but rather stick to some principles about, we need to do this for the people we serve. This is the right thing to do. These are the steps we have to take. And they set a very clear path towards that future. And I think because we've got people who are knowledgeable and ahead of the curve perhaps in making those changes, interacting with the rest of the field, I think that's a very healthy thing, and I think we'll make progress as a result.
So you're really finding that people are focused on their communities and they're able to kind of tone out some of the larger issues and really focus on what's the best way to improve care in their community.
Absolutely, and I think it's actually a good thing in some senses that we've had time to absorb, you know, the implications of the health reform bill, and now I think we're moving into, well, what do we have to do? And there's still uncertainty. I mean, this thing isn't over. I mean, we have a major election coming up next year, and it could change everything. But what I see is action on the ground in the marketplace in local communities across the country that's not going to be stopped or changed in many ways because of the politics and economics of the country. But we are going to keep doing many of the things we talked about at this meeting because it's the right thing to do.
Right. Well, Ian, thanks so much for joining me this morning.
Great. Thanks a lot.